Welcome to this first video in this series under the title of Leadership. When we talk about leadership, we're going to talk about several different things actually, but at the very beginning, you have to be able to know who you are as a leader, more specifically who you are as a person. So if I asked you to describe yourself, you could probably get out a pad and paper and start writing out something, or just start talking about what you think you are. But sometimes it's difficult really to kind of put together the words that try to encompass who you are. So thankfully, with today's technology, there's several different personality profile assessments that you can take that will kind of articulate for you who you are. And it is kind of surprising how accurate they can be when you go through and you answer these questions that they have, accurately, the way that, you are in your natural state, because that's naturally who you are. Let me go over a couple of those right now. These are things that you can go online and you can take these tests. Some of them, can cost anywhere from $10 to $50 or whatever. It's relatively low cost to try to get a good description of who you are. So let's start with this one here. These are no particular order, but the Colby Index. This one kind of gives you a spectrum of different characterizations, these 4 different categories, and just kind of tells where you are along that spectrum. Nothing here is good or bad, or is it for a good leader or for a poor leader. You'll find that they have many examples that they'll give of individuals who were leaders in their field, but they had a mix of different, characterizations that made up who they were. Another one is Gallup's Strength Finder. It has all these different words, and when you go through their assessment, it'll give you like the top 6 that kind of describe who you are. And of course, it'll kind of rank all the rest of these out, so you kind of see from high to low where you kind of are as far as your strengths when you're trying to put this together. Their theory was it's much better for you to pursue your strengths than it is to try to fix your weaknesses. I mean, just know that everyone is individual and you're an individual person. And so along with your individuality comes certain strengths. So it's better to just embrace those strengths and move forward with that, because they're going to be much more impactful. There's another one called an Enneagram. Again, you have 9 different categories on this one, and it'll kind of put together, again, a description of where you are. Another one called the DISC profile. If you've been in dentistry for a long time, you've been to several seminars on leadership, and this is probably the most popular one. I know some consultants say that you should try to do a DISC profile on your patients so you know how to talk to them. I've kind of personally found it difficult to try to do a thumbnail sketch of who this individual is, and I've just sat down and they're telling me about their tooth problem or dental history and so forth. So trying to figure out what letter they are, for me at least, has been difficult, but it's a nice way of at least being cognizant of others. But of course, what we're talking about here is for you, the individual, and knowing how you are. Okay, so that's another one. Let's go to this one, the Myers-Briggs, a very popular one as well. And they have these 4 different letter combinations that will kind of, again, describe who you are. So here you can see there's 16 different types of categories that you would kind of fit into, that would kind of describe the best way out of these 16 who you are. And then lastly, we'll just bring up this one called the Innovation Assessment. This has, again, 6 basic categories, but within each category, there's 2 that kind of describe it in together. Anyway, it's another good one to take. I've taken all of these. I think it's always quite interesting on how well and how accurate they are in, again, describing and articulating and putting into words or diagrams where I fall. And I think it's kind of interesting, at least I think it is, and for a leader to start with this, so again, they know where they're starting from. Because here, when you do the whole strengths and your weaknesses, when you find out who you are, then you know what you should do. And then you know what you should delegate. Now, I put an asterisk after delegate, because you still need to have difficult conversations, and that's just part of being a leader. Sometimes we take our weaknesses and we just want to show them off to somebody else, but sometimes, though, what we want to show off is the difficult stuff, the things that we really would rather not deal with. So know that the difficult conversations, there's no personality profile that somehow is going to absolve you from that responsibility. This is something you're still going to need to do. And being self-aware, as I said at the very beginning of this video, is kind of the baseline. It's going to show you where to begin. Because when it comes to leadership, leadership is not about you. but it does start with you. So knowing who you are will put you way ahead of being a much more effective leader. All right, thank you.